Peah, Perek, Zayin, Mishnah Daled. Okay, the Mishnah is going to talk about Olelot, or Olelot, as it's well known. So Olelot actually appears, we're going to see a bunch of pictures actually. Olelot appears in the Torah. We said, we read the pasuk, it says, V'karmecha lo te'olel. You should not be me'olel. What it really means is to take the Olelot out of your kerem, out of your vineyard. So what in the world does it mean? What is an Olelot? Says the Mishnah, Kol she'en la lo katef velo natef. Katef means literally a shoulder. Okay, natef means a drip, a bottom. So what is a katef and what is a natef? So first we're going to look at the Bartanura, and then we'll look at a couple of pictures to see if we can actualize, we can understand this. Katef. What is the shoulder of a cluster of grapes, an eshkol of anavim? Says the Bartanura, Hasharvit ha'imtza'i shel ha'eshkol mechubarim bo eshkolot ktonot harbe. Okay, the middle sharvit, the middle spine of an eshkol of grapes, of a cluster of grapes, has a bunch of smaller spines attached to it. Ukeshen shochvin ze al ze, when they rest one on another, kimasui shal ktefo shel adam hu nikra katef, like the weight on a person, that's called katef. Okay, so the katef is like the shoulder. Let's look at a picture of grapes. You see here, okay, here is the spine of it. Okay, let's move it up a little bit. Here's the spine here. You can see it when the grapes are not on there. And coming out of it are all these little other clusters. So if we look here, right, there's a spine that goes down. And coming out of the spine comes all these little clusters. Okay, that's the katef. What is natef? Hena gargarim shel anavim ha'amuchubarim b'sof hasharvit. They're the bottom gargarim. Gargarim are little individual grapes. Shirigilim lihiyot tuluyim sham anavim harbe. There's a lot of grapes on the bottom. B'al shem she'anavav notfot lemata. Notef means to drip. Because the grapes drip downward, it's called natef. Okay? Ubelashon mikra korele eshkol she'en lo lo katef lo natef. Olel. And olel is a cluster that has neither a katef nor natef. Let's go back to our picture. So here we have a picture of an olel, olelot, because you see it grew on the stalk, just like over here, right? If you could see on the bottom, let's see in the bottom here, it grew on the stalk. There's no katef. There's no side growth out of which spread more other grape clusters. You can see here, it looks like a shoulder. It looks like, like the grape thing has a shoulder. And there's no natef. It's missing the bottom here. Just as a tiny little cluster of grapes. That's a classic Tamuna, classic picture of Olelot. Okay, so let's go back to our Mishnah. Ezohi Olelet. What is an Olelet? Kol she'en lo lo katef lo natef. Im yesh la katef o natef shel bal habayit. If it has either a shoulder or it has a natef, or a bottom, or the bottom, then it belongs to the bal habayit. It belongs to the owner. Im safek la aniyim. If it's a safek, if you're not sure, then that belongs to the aniyim. We usually say, safek matnot aniyim, go to the aniyim. The Mishnah continues. Olelet sheba arkuva. Let's just look up the word arkuva. Arkuva, says the Jastro, and arkuva is anything joined, the joint, the part of the vine which is bent down and laid in the... No, that's not the part of the vine. Arkuva is a joint. Okay, so and the Bartanura also says the same thing. Arkuva, yichud shel zmora, shetuluyim bo eshkolot harbe. Okay, so basically, let's look if you can have a picture here. Okay, you have the Zmora. If I can get it, this one I can't get any bigger. Okay, the Zmora is attached. See where it's attached right here? You can see it's attached right there. So what if at that joint was also springing out an Olelet? Okay, at that joint is springing out an Olelet. So that's the question of an Olelet Sheba Arkuva. An Olelet, if you have an Olelet sticking out of the joint from where the stem of the cluster of grapes comes out. Im nikretzet im haishkol areyusha walabai. Im lav areyushanim. So the answer is clearly nikretzet means to be cut. Okay, niktetzet v'nichteche. If it's cut with the eshkol, so you're harvesting the grapes. Let's go back to our picture for a second. If when you cut the grapes, the eshkol, the olelet comes with it, and it belongs to the bal habayit, because essentially what that means is just an extension of the grape cluster. But on the other hand, no, if when you cut the grapes that's left, then it belongs to the ani. Gargar yechidi, remember, is a single grape. So here the Bartanura says it's not talking about a single grape. It's an eshkol she'en lo eshkolot tanot shochvot zo al zo. It doesn't have eshkolot, small eshkolot. Ela gagarim muchubar mishavit atzmo. If we go back to our picture that we saw before, you could just imagine there's no clusters here, but rather individual grapes growing, growing on the main stem itself. Says the Mishnah, back to the Mishnah. Gargar yechidi, Rabbi Yehuda omer eshkol. Rabbi Yehuda says that's considered a cluster, and therefore belongs to the Balabai. Chachamim omrim olelot. Chachamim say no, those aren't clusters. Clusters are clusters that bunch onto the stem, and therefore they're olelot, and it belongs to the ani. I want to point out, I was when I was showing you here is an article about Rabbi Dr. Dror Fixler about Olelot. There's a whole, obviously, literature. We're only reading a simple Mishnah, but there's a whole machloket in general about what the katef is and what the natef are. We've only given the simple explanation. It's Mishnah Yomin, but obviously there's a lot more you can go into. If you have any comments or questions, you can email me at rspalder@gmail.com. And I'd like to dedicate this learning to the memory of my father, Harav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day. Oh, one more thing. If you don't mind, I'd like to popularize these Mishnayot. So if you don't mind, share it. Share a link. Share it on social media if you do that. Tell a friend who you know learns Mishnah Yomi. I'd appreciate it.